Hey there, welcome to the Hunters After Show. Today we're talking about episode 11, Pretending to See the Future, and why you would never want to inject Hunter alien blood.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Hunters After Show. Like I said, episode 11, Pretending to See the Future. Look, this was a good one.
This was a good one. Yeah.
My name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's Karidlane. And I'm joined by my lovely co-host.
Hi everyone, I'm Katerina Cozias, and you can find me on Instagram at Katerina Cozias. On Twitter, though, I know you guys that have been following me know about my Twitter issues. It's been 6 weeks. Twitter's got me locked out, so I had to open up a new Twitter account. So you can catch me at Cozias Katerina on Twitter.
At least you gotta keep like your name. You just had to
I
shuffle.
just reversed it.
Yeah.
So, if you can't find me one way, I flip it over.
Yeah.
I'm around.
I had to add my middle initial because my name was taken. So I was like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
But then other shows are saying it like Kari D, and I'm like, I've never gone by that.
Kari D. What's the D stand for?
Danielle.
Danielle.
So I'm like, okay, sure, I'll take it. Anyway, so let's get right into it. So we start off with a flashback, which this show has done quite a bit.
Yeah, 2009,
but it's nice.
Afghanistan.
It's nice to see flashbacks. And we get to find out more about Jackson, which we'll come back to his flashback.
Well, what I find interesting about this flashback just starting out is we actually saw Finnerman in the field.
Yes.
So it's kind of building to the fact that, she was in the field once upon a time, and she's got a little bit of experience.
Have a heart.
Right, yeah.
Maybe, sort of, kind of. Then we have Finnerman, we have Jackson, he's outside his church, and then gets to have a cute moment with his wife, and back to the flashback, he meets Finnerman, which is like, oh my goodness, we kind of see how they met, sort of, because they do talk later that they have been together working for about 20 years, which is kind of crazy that she's totally screwing him over, and they've known each other for so long that you're like, great, thanks, no loyalties there.
No loyalty.
They find out it was an opium route, and they're like, the way these people have been hunted, it's not Taliban. And keyword there, hunted. And that's when Jackson is first really exposed to what hunters are. And then I like, what do you think of Jackson's line when he's telling his wife? He's just like, he's trying to describe what his plans are, and she's like, nah, you shouldn't go above your boss's head. But then he says, I can't sit on my hands, and he cares about his team's safety. You're just like,
because he's a good guy.
So
we love Jackson. Jackson's on the good guy camp.
He's tried and true. Right. And then there's a very suspicious guy nearby.
On a bicycle of all things.
Well, he looks like one of the Mormon kids, but then the missionaries. But then Jackson does notice kid doesn't have a name tag, and then he puts the thing on the car, which I was like, bomb. Yeah, immediately. Yeah,
he plants a bomb under the car, and you know that this is going to be bad. But again, Jackson, with all of his 20, 30, 40 years field experience, he kind of sniffed that one out.
Oh yeah, he was smart. We're just gonna jump around how the episode jumps because it's not too hard to pause on one story and come back to it on this one. So then we get the hotel in Ohio. The hotel in Ohio, they were like, they played it off as a shooting. So when all the hunters died, they were like, it was a shooting, which was a good cover-up. Like, how do you explain a bunch of people dying?
In a hotel.
But, it was rough. An interesting timing of social events as well.
Yes, absolutely.
There's actually a couple moments that were like that. So then we have Regan and Flynn are on the run, and Regan warns Flynn of the danger and don't trust Finnerman, and just really insisting of how much trouble they're in. They can't really trust anybody right now,
except each other. They've got
except each other. Yes, only people. And then they keep having this debate: is it an attack? Is it them is it the hunters trying to leave?
Well, and I find it interesting that Regan is very believing of the hunters. I think she wants to think of them as good.
Yeah.
Even though I think we find out later in the episode that they're actually planning, to...
I think they're trying to leave.
Well,
there you go, guys. What do you think? Are they trying to leave, or is it a bomb? Let us know.
Let us know what you think.
I think they're trying to leave.
You do?
Yep. What do you think?
We'll see.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know, because, I can't get over the fact that aliens are, I think they've done a lot of bad things, that they're intrinsically more bad than good.
Okay.
So, again, we'll see.
Sure. This is a little early on predictions, but yeah, it's a big one. And then we got Regan wants to call Carp, and they need a phone and lotion. The lotion line is back.
She's starting
Shows
to
off
flake.
her arm.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we find out that Musa is hurt, or he was hurt before, but now we have it confirmed. And then Abby's just like, I was trying to help, and I did to Leanna, because Leanna's like, you'll pay for this.
Yeah, Leanna was upset that
she's not
that Abby had left and gone to give a warning.
Because then Musa's injured, so she's like, I blame you.
What I found interesting about Musa's injury, though, again, is I understand that his human body was a little weakened. But again, for me, I mean, these are aliens. They should be unstoppable. So I was like, oh, come on, Musa, get up.
No, because then they're too easy. It's like Superman. You're like, damn, Nabbit, you're only one thing that can hurt you. And yeah, similar problem. And then, back to Regan and Flynn. They get a phone number, and she's like, I heard it with my hunter ears. She's like, I heard the dial tone, so I know how to call it. They're going to find Carp. If they find Carp, they find Musa, which, sure, I guess I follow that. But I'm kind of like, well, you don't know how much Carp is really working with him right now.
Right.
So, oh well. And then I really liked how Jackson warned his wife. What do you think of that moment?
You know what? I think when you've been married for that long, the minute your husband gives you a sign of like, get the kids out of the car and run, you just listen to that. You don't start questioning. You don't start saying, oh, what are you seeing? You just grab the kids, get out of the car, and run. And thank goodness they did, because then the sonic blast boom went off. Now, that wasn't a regular bomb, though. That was a Hunter sonic boom blast. That was interesting.
Yes, I noticed that too. Yeah, it was a sonic boom. And then telling his wife, because it's one of those, she probably doesn't know exactly what he does, but knows he works in some
sort of law enforcement-y type,
And happily his family is safe, but he got hit pretty hard. That was hard to watch.
Yeah,
no,
my back hurt.
Yes. Then we'll jump back to the ETU, and they are trying to find Regan, and they report only. On any report about Regan, you need to report only to Finnerman. And then Finnerman goes, yeah, well, you want to know what happened to your predecessor, to Stephanie the decoder? It's like, yeah, Jules, he died.
No
She's being
pressure.
like, meow.
No pressure.
Yes. But you know what? Did you notice the reaction the decoder Steph had after she was talking with Finnerman?
You know what? I kind of think she's bad too.
I am suspicious of her as well.
Something's going on there.
I
with
don't
her.
know what it is, but what do you guys think? Leave a comment.
Let us know.
Tweet at us.
Yeah.
Because I do not. I like the decode. I keep wanting to call her the decoder,
Stephanie.
But Stephanie. But I mean, it's like, but that's
She
her
is,
title, and that's what she is.
yeah.
That's her job. She's defined by her job. I think I'm suspicious of her, but I don't dislike her.
Okay, fair enough.
Because Finnerman's so bad that you're like, well, if you're
She's only
against Finnerman,
sort
I'm
of
kind of
bad.
okay with that. Kind of okay with that. And then we get Abby and Musa having a really interesting discussion. And then Musa points out, like, oh, the humans have released a bioweapon into the air, and that's why he isn't healing right. And he seems to be a bit paranoid. What do you think?
Yeah.
He was being weird.
And not only that, but Musa was the only one affected by this, because Abby was in that room with him too. So how come Abby wasn't feeling any of this biochemical warfare that apparently the humans are conducting? I don't know. I think it's a stretch.
I think it's a stretch, and I think it was some kind of drug that made him paranoid, which makes sense if there are plenty of drugs to do that. Then he starts blaming McCarthy, and he thinks there's spies everywhere, and he wants everyone round up and check their loyalty.
Now,
oh boy.
I kind of pause there as well, because you're in a room. You got all of the hunters in the room. Musa's saying, declare your loyalty or prove that you're a hunter. So they pull out this knife type thing and they start ripping into their skin. Could they not, again, as hunters, be able to smell each other and figure out intuitively, intrinsically, who is a hunter and who's not?
But that's what Abby said too. Of like, we can see the difference between hunters. But
Like,
I guess
I can appreciate
they
the
wanted
humans
to see
can't
you.
see it, but the hunters should be at an elevated level of sensory.
You would think, but he wants visual proof. Rip open your arm
Rip
and
open
show
your
me your
arm,
alien
show me your gray blood.
Ugh. And the alien skin underneath
Yeah,
too. And
again, shout out to the special effects team.
oh, that one looks so
So good.
Nasty.
So good. You guys are great.
Then we got Regan and Flynn. They're at this medical center, and they spot a car, and we'll do that one real quick because that one's a quick little thing.
Yeah, I got confused with all that side episode, that side scene.
Well, yeah, they see this car leaving, and Regan's like, hey, that is a guy who was a guard for Carp. And then so what they do is they drive a little bit ahead of them, hit their brakes, stops the car, they get out, and then they fighting the guard guys, and then they just shoot them. And I'm like, whoa, whoa. I mean, I guess they're the bad guys, but still, I felt that was a little
But they're
much.
not proven bad guys. I mean, they shot and killed both of them. I thought, whoa.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
At
they
least
open up
knock
the
him
back
out.
seat.
And it's not Carp, it's his son, who's very, very sick. So we'll come back to that. So that's a nice little bit. Jackson calls Finnerman on the phone, and he is not happy because his family was in danger. I was wrong, and I will accept anything to win this war. Ooh, he has almost gone to the dark side. I was like, whoa,
He was
has
angry.
changed.
Well, you know, they targeted his family, and I
yeah.
can appreciate that.
He's
It's
like,
like,
no.
whoa, not my grandkids, not my
Yep.
wife. Okay, let's,
Yep.
you know, game on.
And so Finnerman's like, well, we'll meet at the safe house. And he's like, okay, sure. Which we learn is not a good idea.
But I kind of was suspicious of her with that phone call.
A little bit? Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I
suspicious
thought-
of him. I felt that whole conversation was like, something's going on. Yep. I feel so sing-songy right now.
Yeah. So he gets to the safe house and finds...
Well, it's nobody there. But then Briggs shows up. I like that he has the gun behind his back. Jackson's like, I don't trust you. And then, yeah, I'm jumping. So, yeah, he's like, has the gun, but he doesn't have it. But then they go inside, and they're going to talk. And you're just kind of like, what's going on? And I was so glad that Jackson was on top of his stuff, because Briggs pulls out the gun on him, and then Jackson has the hot water and stuff and splashes it on Briggs, because that's how you stop people. And then he's like, yep, I suspected Finnerman, and I knew you were the dog.
boy,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Now,
the dog.
I found that was an interesting little scene, because on the one hand, you've got Briggs, who's a lot younger, a lot stronger. But on the other hand, you've got Jackson, who, again, with 30, 40 years experience, is not easily taken down. And he proved that. So good on you, Jackson.
Yes. And back over to Flynn and Regan, they find Pablo, who is Carp's son. He is dying of leukemia and went off his meds because he's going to get an injection of some special thing. Oh, wait, it's Regan's blood.
Hunter's blood.
Which Regan's like, no. And they're hiding in this motel, and she's like, no, they don't even know that that's going to work. And they all kind of talk. Oh, I love the part they go to, like, talk separately. Oh my gosh, that kid could totally still hear them. I know they're saying it for our benefit, the audience, but I just felt like, let's just stand 5 feet away.
Right.
Hey, so he's like this, and we're going to do that. I'm like, you guys aren't even whispering.
He can hear you.
Oh, well. Dramatic effect for the audience. And then they're like, well, we need to talk to your dad. We will let you go if we can talk to your dad. And then we get, they call Carp. He's in this penthouse with babes. Do you notice, like, there's a couple random, like, hotties sitting around. And they arrange a meetup, so that's there. And then Carp makes a separate call afterwards, but we don't know who. And he's like, you want to partner up? Mysterious.
Mysterious. Who did you think he was calling? Did you have any theories?
No.
Yeah, I didn't really
I felt it was a hunter,
either.
but I was like, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I didn't really have it. I just kind of like.
I thought perhaps it might have been Finnerman. Because again, I still think she's working for Team Hunters.
Sure,
But-
maybe. And then we get Pablo has a seizure, and they were like, well, maybe we should do the injection. Well, if we don't do the injection, he'll die. Well, if we do the injection, he might die. So it's one of those like, well, we should at least try something.
Right.
So they try it, they do it.
They inject him with the Hunter's blood, and then
Yeah, Regan does the injection, and they're kind of like, well, it's fine.
he gets up. He's like, I feel great.
He's amazing. And Regan's like, I'm going to go. Oh, prior to that, she's like, I'm going to go look up Carp's cell phone number and locate him because she knows how to do that on a laptop. And Flynn calls M. Yeah, before we get to the gnarly stuff with Pablo. Calls M, and she's like, I still love Abby, and part of me understands why this is going on and what's going on, but part of me doesn't. And yeah, you're just like,
I hate M. Oh my God. No, I can't even
You're
stand
like,
her.
I'm
Like,
over
oh my
it.
God, I'm so over her.
fair enough.
Whiny
fair enough.
and miserable and always down tempo. Like, Jesus. M.
Yep. And then they're like, oh, wait, there's no change in Pablo. But then, yes, he gets up. And then Regan's like, well, let's not wait. Let's just get going. And Pablo's like, I feel great. And then it's kind of a joke and not when Flynn's like, did we just cure cancer? And yeah, apparently not, because Hunter blood is like acid to human beings.
So he, like, basically falls over dead,
Well,
stops breathing.
And then she's like doing CPR. She's like, oh no, his heart stopped. CPR, crunch. I did not push that hard.
His
And then
whole
the
chest
face.
cavity caves in. His face
That
starts
was
caving
gnarly.
in.
Go special effects,
Go
people.
special effects. My
That
God,
was probably
amazing.
the best part of the
Disgustingly
episode.
amazing.
Because it looks so believable. You're just like, yeah. then we jump back to the Hunter base, and Lyanna is giving a speech, and we want a demonstration of loyalty, which we kind of talked about a little bit. And then only the loyal will purge, which is funny because the movie Purge is coming out, so it's just kind of funny timing.
Which, again, we don't know what that means, right? Are they going to purge the Earth, or are they going to purge from the Earth?
So everybody needs to prove themselves. Everybody line up. Abby is not thrilled with this method of showing loyalty. And then we get Jackson hiding, and Briggs is like, I was just following protocol. And Briggs backs off a little bit because Jackson's kind of like, if you kill me, you're no better than they are, and kind of appeals to Briggs' conscience and is like, yes, your lover, the one person you cared about, died, and so you just don't care about anything in this world, that you can't just be
But he appealed a little bit to
lapdog.
Briggs' sensibility. Yeah.
He was smart because
His
Jackson's a good
sensitivities.
talker. And then we jump back to Flynn and Regan, and they're like, Regan feels a bit of guilt because she's like, it's my blood. But
Yeah, well, it's...
you didn't know. But she has a good question. Where did Carp get the idea? Because that's a really good question. Where on earth would he get this idea? Did you have any guess?
No, but I found it interesting that all this time the Hunters have been on the Earth, no one had ever thought to use their blood for this type of purpose. So they just came up with this like recently, apparently.
You know, I totally am blanking on what it is, but I know I've seen that in something where using the alien something is actually okay in a small dose.
Okay, if you guys know at
remember.
home, if you guys at home remember this,
Any sci-fi things where...
Kari D. Lane.
Yeah. Tweet at me and let me know, or comment on the video down below. Let us know, because I feel there's something sci-fi where they're like, hey, just use you do it, or something like where you can cohabit and it helps, but it doesn't destroy you. But I don't remember. Oh well. And then we get Flynn and Regan. They're gonna meet Carp, and it's not Carp, it's McCarthy.
Ooh,
totally
McCarthy's
called that.
back. Wow.
Did you think it was gonna be him?
No, I thought Finneman was going to come out of the car. I'm determined to make her bad. I'm determined. But I was excited to see him because I
Yes.
loved him. I wish the whole series was a little more based on him. Although I love Musa too. Musa, I love you.
Yes. Now, what did you guys think? Please let us know. I'm curious what y'all thought, because I was watching it and I was like, it's not Carp. And then I'm all, is it going to be McCarthy? And then it was, and I was like, yes!
Oh, did you really?
Goal.
Did you think
Yes.
it might have been?
I totally was like, it's going to be McCarthy.
Now, the one issue I had with McCarthy coming out of the car, unrelated to anything, but wasn't his hair white at the beginning of the season, and now it looks like it's been dyed a little more like blondie brown?
Well,
Did you notice
he
that?
looked younger in general. He shaved all the
Right.
facial. He looked more like how he looks on Nip Tuck.
Right.
Which I was like, "Arr."
He's back.
I was like, oh my goodness. Because he's a villain you actually like. Because so many times there's villains and you just hate them. You're just like, oh, I don't care. But I like him. He's charismatic. He's so interesting. You know, he's not just this like...
Yeah, so it'll be
boring
interesting to
bad
see
guy.
him in the last episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, why are you here? And the idea apparently came from him to use the blood. And he's like, well, I want to stop Musa because he was exiled.
Right.
Which we talked about a few episodes ago. And that totally makes sense because he's like, well, screw you. I'd rather...
And he disappeared, right? So it was a nice, I wonder if there was a reason for this break in using that actor. Like, I almost wonder if it was a
contract, like you're only signed up for 4 episodes.
Yeah,
or
even a conflicting screening schedule. Maybe he's doing a movie. Maybe
it's one of those. We like him so much also because we've only had him in small doses.
right.
You know?
We haven't had a
It's
chance
kind
to
of
hate
that
him.
little bit. It's like candy or something. It's great, and then you get too much and get a
And you're
sugar
like,
headache.
oh,
So
right.
yeah, so he's like that. You just get in small doses, and then you just want more.
And then he's back.
And then he's like, well, I will tell you about the launch, and I want immunity, which is a very good argument, because it's like, well, Carp, and we didn't really mention, but Carp's head has been cut off. Go McCarthy.
So McCarthy throws it out of the car
Yes.
before he gets out of the car. We forgot to mention that's a pretty big scene.
That was pretty bam.
So
I was like, wow.
Carp is dead. His son is dead. Okay, wipe that family off the map.
The family's gone.
Done.
And then Regan's like, well, I don't trust him. And apparently, McCarthy only trusts Jackson. And I will only tell him where the launch site is.
Now, which is interesting because
Because they had a little run-in a little while ago when Jackson was, when McCarthy was escaping the prison. But he didn't kill Jackson. So I agree that, yeah, he does trust Jackson. And I think McCarthy respects Jackson.
Right. Yeah. No, he knows at least he'll be able to have a conversation.
Because Jackson isn't, like...
hot-headed, and he's not...
He's not hot-headed. He's not two-faced. He's
Right.
straightforward, and McCarthy respects that. And then we get Abby and Musa again, and Abby's like, I would die for you. And everybody here would die for you. And Musa's just kind of like, he kind of worries about his leadership. He's like, I've been leading these people like a shepherd, and all these bad stuff are happening. And then he goes, the Exalted are here, which, as I recall, were the old baddies of why they left their planet in the first place.
Right. Yeah, they left to get away from the Exalted on their planet.
Now, the question is that just paranoia because he's been kind of paranoid, or are they really there? That's a good question.
I have a prediction when we're ready for
Okay,
them.
I was going to say almost.
Yeah.
We're almost there. Then they're like, it's time, and they said they're going to go home. So I still think they are trying to leave. Then we get back to ETU, Stephanie and Finnerman, and they're like, going to give me Regan's coordinates, and Stephanie's like, I will do what has to be done. And then Finnerman gets a text from Briggs, and it's like Operation Protocol. And then
Echo Protocol.
Echo, thank you. We had the flashback of them fighting together, and they talked about 20 years ago.
Briggs is saying to Finnerman, come and meet me at the safe house. So
Yes.
she gets this text thinking it's Briggs.
Yep.
Goes to the safe house, but finds Jackson.
And right before that, we get a tiny flashback of Jackson. They talk about what Echo Protocol is, because there's a shepherd there in Afghanistan who saw what happened, and they just have to kill him. So now we know what Echo Protocol means. It means you got to get rid of everybody who has seen anything. And then she's like, Briggs betrayed me. Which I feel Briggs is sitting in the other room listening to this conversation.
Yeah,
did you feel that the whole time?
I did.
I was waiting for Briggs to like step out from a doorway and be like, "Oh, really? That's what you think about me."
I feel bad for Briggs because he pretty much did everything she asked.
Yeah.
So for her to turn on him that easily was
Well,
like,
that's
wow.
what Jackson said. He's like,
You
don't
know.
think just because you're her lapdog does not guarantee
Right,
your safety
right.
at all. And then they go to the safe house, and she sits down with Jackson, and he's like, well, I tried to appeal to Briggs' side. So I think Briggs is with Jackson. I mean, we're kind of predictions there, but not yet.
Okay.
I'm like, we'll talk about it. And then she's like, I'm sorry it happened this way. And you're like, oh, but with the bomb with his family. And she's like, well, if it means anything, I'm sorry it happened that way. And you're just like, thanks.
Wow.
Not really.
Not really.
No. And then this was a very interesting discussion about any country defending their country, because it was she was like, I'm trying to protect a nation, and he says, at what cost? Any cost. So you could really parallel that to the United States or any other country of what they do to protect their own. Like that whole conversation, I'm like, well, you could just take this conversation and apply it to a bunch of other things, and not just an alien sci-fi show. So that was very. What did you think of that conversation?
Well, I thought it was an interesting conversation, especially on the heels of these, airport blasts that rocked Turkey today, and again, bombs and suicide bombers and all of this. I mean, it's out of control. And do governments have a right to do whatever it takes to protect their citizens? I mean, it's a timely question.
Yes. And then I like that Jackson points out the dirtier we fight, I don't know if we're worth fighting for, which is a good point. It is that one of those, if we do this stuff, we're as bad as them, which Finnerman's like, don't say that to me, which he's like, whatever. And he points out that heroes don't kill the innocent. Innocent people. And she tells him that there's no place for compassion. And the question is, does he shoot her? All right, now let's go into predictions, because that's part of prediction, I feel.
It is part of a prediction.
Predictions.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV
All right.
prediction.
Okay, so
You were burning with a prediction.
I
Go
was,
with
but
it.
I'm gonna save that one for second. So my first prediction
Okay.
is that Jackson did shoot her, but did you notice how the gun went down? So I
Yes.
think he shot her in the leg or the knee or the arm. I don't think he shot her to kill her.
Not a kill
I think
shot?
he shot her to
Okay.
just paralyze her and like leave her in the house to
Sure.
So I think Finnerman's gonna be fine.
Okay.
But I do think my big prediction. I
Yes.
think Finnerman is an Exalted.
Oh.
Yes. So I elevated her in my mind from Hunter
Okay.
to Exalted Hunter.
Thus, she wants to kill the hunters even more.
Right.
Okay.
So she's kind of like a double agent almost.
I like that. That'd be really interesting.
So that's kind of what stuck in my head by the end of the episode.
Ooh,
Yes.
I like that prediction. Yes, I do not think Jackson killed Finnerman because
No.
the shot was angled downward, so I don't think so. Maybe in the shoulder, it was interesting. I do think Briggs is...
Alive.
Briggs might not be around. I had a moment where I felt like he was just in the other room, but maybe he's left. But Briggs is probably leaving the ETU, or definitely is leaving Finnerman. He's like, I'm not working for you anymore. He's not a lapdog. Regan and Flynn will team up with McCarthy. They'll meet up with Jackson, obviously, and figure out what the launch site is. And I still think it's a launch site to go home. They're trying to leave.
We'll see.
Hopefully we see more of McCarthy because he's just awesome. And, standoff between McCarthy and Musa. That would be cool.
That would be
he's like,
really
you
cool.
exile me,
Interesting.
fight.
And McCarthy's not the type to back down. So he's back now. He's back for a reason.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And yes,
That's
I
a good
liked
one.
his new cleaned up look. Though I did really like that salt and pepper white hair and then goatee.
And the goatee thing. I like
he
facial.
looked
I'm a
really
facial
good.
hair kind of girl. So he looked a little too clean cut for me coming back.
He was rocking the
He
silver
was, he had gone on
before.
vacation. He was
Yeah.
relaxed.
Yes, he's like, I dyed my hair, guys, whatever. Yeah, well, we haven't really talked too much about Hunters aging. You know?
But we know that they do because we had
you
the
age to a point,
progressive.
but were there old people? There are no old Hunters.
I mean, you could argue that, okay, old is in 80.
Grandparents.
Right, okay.
Like, there are no grandparents ones.
Right, interesting.
If you guys notice that, yeah, in all the Hunters things, they're generally like your standard adult, maybe 50 to 60 max. Like, there's no really white
Aged,
hair,
right,
grandma and grandpa
elders,
kind of people.
Right.
But children, it looks like children hit a point and then you stop. Because, I mean, it is a skin suit.
Yeah, it is. But I mean,
So-
we had the natural progression of Regan from when she was 7 years old
Yeah.
to whatever she is now, 30-ish.
Musa looks the
right?
way he's looked for the last, 20-something years.
Right.
So, good question. All right, I think those are the predictions. Any
Yeah.
other comments on the episode?
No, overall, good episode. You know, and I actually like this episode because for me, for the first time in this entire series, for me, there was a logical progression between the last episode and this one. I mean, up till now,
Like
they
it
just kind
picked
of
up?
jump into different spots. This
Yeah.
was a natural progression for me. So
Sure.
I thought it's finally flowing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Writing,
This episode
writing
was-
wise.
Yeah, this was a good episode. Covered a lot of stuff. And we are kind of wrapping to the end. Now, guys, make sure to check online for next week since it is the 4th of July. And normally the episodes look like they air on Mondays. But I think because it's 4th of July, it looks like the finale will actually be the following week.
Yeah, we're hearing
check back.
We're hearing details about
Yes.
possibly July 11th.
Yeah, so it might not be...
So double check your listings, your local listings.
Our listings
Our
too.
listing.
Check us out on YouTube. Just check in because it'll either be next Tuesday or
the
it'll be the
following
following
one, right?
And that'll be the finale.
Oh my gosh.
Do you feel they're really going to wrap it all up in one episode, or is it going to be a cliffhanger ending?
I think it's going to be a cliffhanger ending. I think
Okay.
they really wanted to go with a second season. I don't think that we know that they're having a second season, but I know that the ratings
Yeah.
were so low that they took it out of a prime time time
Yeah.
and bumped it to a midnight time. So they can't bode well for continuing
Yeah.
the show, which is too bad because I'm sure this was taped beforehand, which means we'll probably get left with a cliffhanger ending with no
Yes.
resolution.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a cliffhanger ending. I don't
Although
know.
I wonder how, what I'd be interested in finding out is how much of season 1 is based on the book. And have
Yeah.
we covered the entire book with season 1, or are we
Probably
only like
not.
halfway into the book?
Doubt it.
So
yeah.
we could probably read the book for the finale.
That's true. If we need to know more, there is a
Right.
book that this is based on. I feel it's going to be a cliffhanger ending. I don't think they'll get a season 2. I don't know because, the ratings weren't doing so well.
And the book
but
is called
we'll
The
see.
Alien Hunter, guys, if you're looking for it. The Alien Hunter is the book this is based off of.
So, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But, yeah. So, anyway, check
So
back
tune
in on
in.
YouTube. Check on Twitter. AfterBuzz will tweet something that we're about to be going live
Yeah.
and stuff, so you'll know. I
Great.
think that kind of wraps us up for
Yeah,
this
that's what I got
episode.
for you.
Why don't you let people know where they can find you now?
Perfect. So, yeah, if you're looking for me, once again, Katerina Cozias on Instagram at Katerina Cozias, on Twitter, as you can see here, at Cozias Katerina.
And do you have any other shows right now?
At the moment, no, but you can catch me on the AfterBuzz affiliate network, Book Circle Online, where I
fun.
do book author interviews and book discussions. So you can catch me on that through the course of the summer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful. My name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D. Lane. That's Karidlane. And you can find me starting tonight. We're going to be doing Dead of Summer, which I think we're starting taping that one at 9:30. And Monday nights, Box Office Breakdown. Houdini and Doyle is ending next week, so that'll be the end. And Vikings on Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave comments down below. Thumbs up,
Woohoo!
5 stars on iTunes.
That's right.
We love reading your guys' comments and appreciate it on Twitter and reaching out and talking
Yeah,
with
and
the
tweet
community.
me at my new Twitter, because I
Yes.
used to have quite a few followers, and now I have 18. I literally set up my account this morning, so like me, people, like me.
Well, it's day one. It's day one, guys. So go check her out and find us on Twitter and
Hashtag starting over.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good hashtag. And we'll keep the discussion going. Again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to AfterBuzz and all our social media networks because there's a lot of great shows that we cover and good discussions about all your favorite TV shows. Again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.